after a man's alleged shooting spree overnight in Mississippi. Our Alex Perche is tracking this story for us. Alex, what do we know about how this all unfolded?
Well, I can tell you that investigators there in Clark County, Mississippi, are saying that this is one of the worst mass shootings in state history. What we're learning is that 24-year-old Derica Moore is their suspect. They say that last night around 7 p.m., they first got the first 911 call. They say that Moore allegedly shot his father, Glenn, his older brother, Quentin, and then also his uncle, before stealing his brother's truck, driving over to another home where they say that he tried to sexually assault a 7-year-old before killing that young girl, and then left to another home where they say he shot and killed 2 brothers. Again, I mean, this is fast developing. They're saying these details are still kind of coming in. They don't know a motive right now, but they say that he was apprehended without incident at a checkpoint that they had set up for public safety around that area. But earlier today, we heard from the district attorney, who again said that this is one of the worst crimes he's ever seen. Take a listen.
There's some cases just that they've got to get the worst punishment. They've got to get the worst punishment. If he's eligible, we're going to go for the death penalty.
Yeah, and I mean, you hear.
I'm not. What are you doing? Why you guys listen to me? Go move! Do not move! Do not reach! Do not reach! Do not reach! I'm leaving.
Much farther to the north, a deadly incident in Minneapolis. A woman, as you probably heard by now, behind the wheel of a vehicle, approached by ICE agents and told to leave. She accelerates, and seconds later, an agent shoots her dead. Nicole Skanga has made her way to the scene tonight and joins us now. Nicole, good evening.
Good evening, Tony. Behind me, what started as an immigration operation quickly turned into a crime scene. It is now the site of a vigil and a growing but peaceful protest.
This eyewitness video shows a red SUV surrounded by ICE agents in South Minneapolis. They attempt to pull the driver from the car. No! But she starts to drive off. 3 shots are fired before the SUV slams into a nearby parked car.
You just what the did you do?
Leaving eyewitnesses in shock.
It was a red truck and nothing but the airbags and full of blood.
Quickly responding, Minneapolis police say they found 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good with gunshot wounds to the head.
Life-saving measures were performed at the scene, including CPR. The woman was transported to Hennepin County Medical Center, where she has since been pronounced deceased.
Chaos erupted as protesters threw snowballs and clashed with law enforcement, who in turn fired tear gas into the crowd.
They're chasing ICE out. They launched like 4 or 5 canisters. A bunch of people got gas.
Speaking in Texas, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the officers were attacked first.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him.
Shame! But eyewitnesses and the city's mayor, Jacob Frey, called it something different.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is
More than 2,000 federal agents have been deployed to the Twin Cities to conduct immigration raids and help with a widening fraud probe. Today, the mayor had this message.
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here. People are being hurt.
And then I heard this pop, pop, pop.
Longtime Minneapolis residents Lynette, Rainey, Grandel, and Venus DeMars saw everything unfold.
The Department of Homeland Security Secretary says this is about public safety.
It's the opposite of public safety, obviously.
Do you feel safer?
No.
Since President Trump returned to office, federal immigration agents have been involved in at least 10 shootings by our count, including a controversial incident late last year in Chicago where a woman was shot multiple times. DHS said that woman rammed her car into a border protection vehicle, but later all charges against her were dropped. Tony.
And you won't last, 'cause we come through swinging, kicking you in the ass.
It was quick, but very rewarding. I'm gonna play it again.
Stand in our path, and you won't last, 'cause we come through swinging, kicking you in the ass.
2025. 26-year-old Elijah Wilkes was driving through a construction zone in Milwaukee when his car made contact with another vehicle, a car driven by an off-duty Milwaukee police officer. Both drivers pulled over to the side of the road. The situation seemed simple enough at first, a minor crash, no serious damage, just two people exchanging words. But moments later, that calm turned into chaos. Dashcam footage from the scene shows Wilkes stepping out of his car to confront the officer. The two appear to argue briefly before Wilkes pulls out a handgun. In a split second, he points it toward the officer and strikes him with it. The officer, now injured and caught off guard, pulls his weapon and fires several shots. Wilkes falls to the ground. He's pronounced dead at the scene. The off-duty officer is taken to a hospital with facial injuries. As the news spread, the city was divided. Some thought it was another example of police violence, while others said it was a clear act of self-defense.
Loved ones have identified him as Elijah Wilkes.
All I heard was get on the ground.
A friend says she was FaceTiming with Wilkes at the time and claims he didn't pistol whip anyone.
Not the truth at all. It's not the truth at all.
Milwaukee's police chief says there is video of the incident that will be released.
Case where a man was arrested and charged with burglarizing graves and storing remains in his home and storage unit. Chris O'Connell, you've been following this story since it broke. What are police saying?
Well, Jason, police think that Jonathan Gerlach was selling at least some of those human remains online. Investigators say he had collected a trove of human skulls, skeletons, and bones, including full corpses hanging from his basement ceiling.
I never thought I would see this in my life. It was an experience that you really don't want to relive.
The Yeadon police chief says he's seen a lot in his career, but nothing like what he saw when he walked into the home of accused grave robber Jonathan Gerlach. He was one of the first inside of Gerlach's Ephrata home when they discovered more than 100 human remains of people who have died decades, even centuries ago. Investigators and medical examiners were back at the property today. They say 8 more bodies were found at a nearby storage locker.
They were basically on display. There was some stuff in boxes, but most of the stuff was on display.
According to newly released affidavits, police say Gerlach used crowbars and screwdrivers to break into dozens of mausoleums and underground burial vaults on both the Yeadon and Philadelphia sides of the historic Mount Moriah Cemetery. You can actually see where some of the stones were moved and vaults burglarized. 2 corpses stolen from this grave, 7 sets of remains stolen from this family plot. All of the remains were from those who died many years ago, but some as young as infants. Descendants of family members buried here are sickened.
It's yucky. I mean, anybody finding out, we think that, we're going to rest in peace and be okay there. And, I mean, it's their landing space of their body, not their soul. So there's peace in that.
Neighbors at Gerlach's Ephrata home started to get suspicious when they started noticing flies around the window.
It was more than 5. It was at least 20, 30 on each window. I figured it was a garage that they were getting in through somewhere and they couldn't get out, and now finding out that there was all those remains in there, it makes sense.
Investigators are trying to figure out if other cemeteries were hit. In December, a tip came into police about a grave robber in Luzerne County. A tipster told police they recently discovered a partially decomposed corpse hanging from Gerlach's basement. They also say he disappeared for a few days and mentioned that he had been in Chicago selling a human skull. Police are looking into a Facebook page devoted to selling human remains. Investigators wonder how long it's been going on or what else they may find.
What could this evolve to next? You know, you're collecting human remains. What's the next step in the evolution of this? And that's something that, you know, hopefully we will find out why.
Now, Gerlach remains in the Delaware County Jail on $1 million cash bail. Investigators are now trying to connect loved ones with their family members' remains, but since all of them died many, many years ago, Dawn, they understand it is going to be a challenge.
No doubt, Chris. It's so disturbing.
Since 37-year-old Good was shot and killed by that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent, and protests continue to build in the city and across the country. Mayor Jacob Frey telling reporters this morning, calling for people to exercise their right to protest peacefully and repeating his demand that ICE agents leave the city. Our Renee Cooper joins us live in South Minneapolis, where there has been a massive protest happening, Renee.
Yeah, Mayor Jacob Frey and Police Chief Brian O'Hara still saying protests have been largely peaceful throughout the city, and that's really been the case here today. Again, we're on Chicago right now, Chicago Avenue, where we watched the march start here, the very start of it, come through here, and for well over an hour, people filed through here down the street there. And I want to show you this video from Chopper 5 from earlier today in Powderhorn Park. That's where people first gathered today, thousands of them, not too far from where Renee Good was shot and killed by that ICE agent on Wednesday. Protesters marched, covering city blocks and slowing traffic for hours to send a message to federal officials.
There's an enormous, gigantic outpouring of love for this community, for Minnesota, and a lot of concern and outrage about what's going on the federal invasion of our state and city.
Now, earlier in the day, that plea from Mayor Jacob Frey and Chief O'Hara for peaceful protests. This after the chief says officers arrested 29 people overnight after some protesters damaged a downtown hotel. The chief says MPD does not share specifics on law enforcement strategy, including for this weekend, but he did say MPD has currently canceled all off days for officers. And here's what he said when I asked how much of MPD's resources are being used right now to respond to situations arising from ICE operations.
So we have officers, obviously, that are conducting their normal duties and responding to 911 calls, but then they're also being held over, and they're being held on standby. Last night, as obviously we were dealing with over 200 officers at the scene to execute the unlawful assembly and dispersal order. We were also posting other police officers around downtown to ensure that we did not have additional destruction. So it is quite literally almost 100% of every sworn member of the department.
Now, we reached out to ICE today for comment on this story. We have not heard back today. Now, in statements this week, DHS has said ICE agents are facing an increase in assaults against them and, quote, we will not allow rioters to deter us in our mission to make America safe. Now, again, aside from that alleged unlawful assembly and the property damage overnight, local police have said protests have been loud but peaceful. Live in Minneapolis tonight, Renee Cooper, 5 Eyewitness News.
Okay, thank you, Renee.